Welcome back to True Soul Stories, family. Before we dive into this final, explosive chapter, I need to know, where are you watching from right now? Drop your location in the comments because this is the last time we're gathering for Jasmine and Minjun's story, and I want to see how far across the world this family is spread. New York? London? Nairobi? Tokyo? Lagos? Sao Paulo? Mumbai? Sydney? Let me know you're here. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2, I'm begging you, go back and watch them now. Because what you're about to witness is the most intense, emotionally devastating, and absolutely insane conclusion to a story that has kept you on the edge of your seats for weeks. This is it, the final chapter. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to feel everything. Hit that subscribe button right now because after this series ends, we've got something even more incredible coming your way. But first, let's finish what we started. And before I forget, share this video with at least 3 people who love intense drama. Tag them in the comments. Tell them they need to see this. Because True Soul Stories is building a global community, and I want every single one of you to be part of it. Now let's go. The hospital room was silent except for the rhythmic beep of monitors and the hiss of the ventilator breathing for Jasmine. Minjun sat beside her bed, his hand wrapped around hers, watching her chest rise and fall with mechanical precision. It had been 18 hours since the warehouse. 18 hours since Hyen was bullet tore through her abdomen. 18 hours of surgery and transfusions and doctors with grave expressions talking about complications and wait and see. Minjun hadn't moved, hadn't eaten, hadn't slept. He just sat there, holding her hand, willing her to fight, to survive, to come back to him. The nurses had tried to get him to rest, to at least eat something, but he'd refused. How could he eat when she was fighting for every breath? How could he sleep when she might not wake up? The door opened quietly. Mr. Kong wheeled himself in, still weak but determined. Behind him came someone Minjun hadn't seen in years. A woman, mid-50s, elegant despite the exhaustion in her eyes. She wore all black, her hair pulled back severely, and when she looked at Minjun, there was something in her expression that made his stomach drop. Recognition mixed with regret, mixed with something that looked almost like hope. Minjun, Mr. Kong said quietly, "There's someone you need to meet. This is Kong Soo-young. My sister, your aunt." The world tilted sideways. Minjun had heard stories about his father's sister. The peacemaker. The one who tried to stop the war between the brothers 30 years ago. The one who disappeared when Dae-hoon was exiled, choosing loyalty to her younger brother over her elder. The ghost of the Kong family, spoken about in whispers when Mrs. Kong wasn't around to punish such talk. "Hello, nephew," Soo-young said softly. Her voice carried an accent. American, Minjun realized. She'd been living abroad all these years. "I'm sorry we're meeting under these circumstances. But when I heard what Dae-hoon was planning, I had to come back. I couldn't let him destroy what's left of this family." "You know where he is," Minjun said. "It wasn't a question. I know everything." She moved closer to Jasmine's bed, studying the unconscious woman with something that looked like respect. "This is the one who saved you. The one my brother wants dead almost as much as he wants your father dead. The one who stood up to this family when everyone else was too terrified to speak." "Why?" The word came out harsh, raw. "What did any of us do to deserve his hatred? I wasn't even born when whatever happened between you 3 went down." Soo-young looked at Mr. Kong. "Tell him. He deserves the truth. All of it. No more secrets. No more lies. That's what destroyed this family in the first place." Mr. Kang's face had gone gray. He looked older than Minjun had ever seen him, like the weight of 30 years of lies was finally crushing him. 30 years ago, our grandfather died and left the company to all 3 of us. Equal shares. Dae-hoon, myself, and Soo-young. But I wanted more. I was ambitious, ruthless, hungry for power in a way that made me blind to everything else. And I convinced Soo-young to side with me against Dae-hoon. Together, we had controlling interest. Together, we forced him out. But that's not the worst part, Soo-young continued, her voice breaking. "The worst part is that I lied. I planted the evidence that made it look like Dae-hoon was embezzling. I destroyed his reputation. I made his own wife doubt him. I turned the entire business community against him. And I did it all because your father promised me power and wealth and everything I thought I wanted." She wiped tears from her eyes. "But the guilt destroyed me. I spent 30 years in America trying to outrun what I'd done. Therapy, charity work, helping underprivileged communities, trying to help people to make up for the one person I'd hurt so badly. But nothing worked. Nothing could erase what I'd done. And then 2 months ago, Daehoon found me. He'd spent 3 decades building his own empire. Darker, more dangerous, built on everything our family had once stood against. And now he's here to take everything from the people who took everything from him. Minjun's mind was reeling. So this whole thing, Mrs. Kong, Hyunwoo, all of it, Daehoon orchestrated it. Not all of it. He just accelerated existing tensions, fed them, made them worse. Minho was on his payroll from the beginning, feeding information, planting seeds of doubt. Mrs. Kang's paranoia about you was real, but Daehoon made sure it festered. Gave her just enough information to keep her suspicious, just enough fear to make her dangerous. Hyunwoo's resentment was genuine, but Daehoon pushed him over the edge, encouraged his worst instincts, made him feel like violence was his only option. And now he's going to finish what he started. He's going to destroy this family completely, starting with her. Soo-young gestured to Jasmine. Because he knows that losing her will break you, and breaking you will destroy your father. It's the perfect revenge, really. Elegant in its cruelty. But wait, here's where things get absolutely insane. The monitors beside Jasmine's bed suddenly screamed. Alarms blared. Her body convulsed, and doctors rushed in, shouting medical terms that Minjun didn't understand. Code Blue. We need the crash cart. BP is dropping. Give me 2 units of O-negative, stat. Everyone out, a doctor yelled. Now, Minjun was dragged from the room. Through the window, he watched them work on her. Chest compressions. More drugs. The defibrillator charging, the paddles pressed to her chest, her body arching off the bed like something out of a horror movie. No, he whispered. No, you don't get to leave me. Not now. Not like this. We have plans. We're going to Hawaii. We're going to be boring and normal and happy. You promised me. You promised. Soo-young put a hand on his shoulder. She's strong. She'll fight. You don't know that. I do. Because I've been watching her. Learning about her. Reading everything I could find. And that woman in there? She survived things that would have broken most people. Poverty. Discrimination. Coming to a foreign country with nothing. Standing up to one of the most powerful families in Korea. She'll survive this too. 3 minutes later, the longest 3 minutes of Minjun's life, the alarm stopped. The doctors stepped back, and one of them looked through the window and nodded. She was stable, for now, but the head surgeon came out looking grim. Dr. Park, a man who'd seen everything in his 30-year career, looked like he'd aged 10 years in the last hour. Mr. Kong, I need to be honest with you. The bullet did more damage than we initially thought. There's internal bleeding we can't stop without another surgery. But she's too weak right now. If we operate, she might not survive the anesthesia. Her body's been through too much trauma. If we don't operate, she definitely won't survive the bleeding. It's a choice between a small chance and no chance. How long do we have? 12 hours. Maybe less. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. As the doctor walked away, Minjun felt something inside him break. This woman had saved his life twice. Had stood up to his family when no one else would. Had shown him what real courage looked like. Had made him believe that maybe, just maybe, he could be better than the family he was born into. And now she was dying because of him. Because of his family's poison. I know where Daehoon is, Soo-young said quietly. And I know what he's planning. But stopping him means making a choice. You can stay here with her, or you can end this. You can't do both. Minjun looked at his father. What do I do? You save her, Mr. Kong said firmly. You stay here. I'll handle my brother. Father, you can barely walk. You can barely breathe. You can't. I can. And I will. Because this is my fault. My sin. My responsibility to fix. He wheeled himself closer to Minjun. But I need you to promise me something. When this is over, when Daehoon is dealt with, you rebuild this family the right way. With honor. With integrity. With people like her. He gestured to Jasmine. You make this company something that helps people instead of destroying them. Promise me. I promise. Mr. Kong nodded. Then he looked at his sister. Soo-young, it's time we faced what we did. Together. Together, she agreed. If you're loving this story, hit that like button right now. And comment below if you think Jasmine's going to make it. Because I'm telling you, what happens next is going to destroy you emotionally. Trust me on this. 2 hours later, in an abandoned industrial complex on the outskirts of Seoul, Daehoon stood in what had once been his grandfather's first factory. The place where the Kong Empire had been born 60 years ago. Now it was scheduled for demolition. Fitting, he thought, that it would be where the empire died. The building was a monument to decay. Broken windows let in the cold night air. Rust covered every surface. Graffiti decorated the walls. But if you looked closely, you could still see traces of what it had been. The pride of a man who'd built something from nothing. Minho stood beside him, along with a dozen armed men. Everything was in place. Explosives had been set throughout the building. Security cameras disabled. Escape routes mapped. This would be the Kong family's tomb. "They're here," one of the men said. The factory doors opened. Mr. Kong wheeled himself in, Su-young walking beside him. No guards. No weapons. Just two old sinners coming to face judgment. "Brother," Dae-hoon said coldly. "Sister, how touching that you came together. Just like you were when you destroyed me. We're here to make this right," Su-young said. "To confess. To face whatever punishment you decide. But leave the children out of it. Minjun, Jasmine, they're innocent. They had nothing to do with what we did to you." "Innocent?" Dae-hoon laughed, and the sound echoed through the empty factory. "There's no such thing as innocence in this family. We're all poisoned, all corrupt, tainted by grandfather's ambition and father's greed and our own cowardice. And the only way to cleanse it is to burn it all down." "Then burn me," Mr. Kong said. "Kill me. Take the company. Take everything. Take my life. But let them live. Let them build something better than what we created. You still don't understand." Dae-hoon moved closer, and in the dim light of the factory, Minjun could see how much his uncle had aged. How the hatred had carved lines into his face, turned his hair white, bent his shoulders under the weight of 30 years of rage. "I don't want the company. I don't want the money. I want you to suffer the way I suffered. To lose everything the way I lost everything. To feel the betrayal I felt. To know what it's like to have the people who should love you destroy you instead. And that means taking away the people you love." He pulled out a phone, showing them a video feed. The hospital. Jasmine's room. Guards stationed outside. Guards who were actually on Dae-hoon's payroll. "One phone call," Dae-hoon said, "and they disconnect her life support. One call, and your son loses the woman he loves. One call, and you lose the only person who's shown your family what real integrity looks like. The only person in 3 generations who's actually been good." "Don't," Su-young pleaded. "Please, Dae-hoon. She's innocent. She's good. She's everything this family should have been, but never was. Don't make her pay for what we did." "Why not? My wife paid. My children paid. Everyone I loved was destroyed by what you did. My wife left me because she believed your lies. My children grew up without a father because I had to flee the country. My entire life was destroyed. Why should any of you keep the people you love?" "Because I'm offering you something better," Su-young said. She stepped forward, pulling out a document from her bag. "This is a confession. Signed by both of us. Notarized. Legally binding. Detailing everything we did to you. The fraud. The lies. The evidence planting. Everything. We'll go to the police. We'll face charges. We'll spend the rest of our lives in prison if that's what it takes. But please, let them live." Dae-hoon stared at the document. For a moment, something flickered in his expression. Something that might have been the man he used to be before 30 years of hatred consumed him. The good man. The just man. The one who'd wanted to run the company with integrity and honor. The one grandfather had been grooming to take over before everything fell apart. Then he smiled. Cold. Empty. "No." He raised his gun, pointing it at Mr. Kang's chest. "You took 30 years from me. I'm taking eternity from you." But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Su-young stepped in front of the gun, stood between her brothers, arms spread wide, making herself as large a target as possible. "Then you'll have to go through me first. Sister, move." "No. I won't let you do this. I won't let you become the monster they made you think you were. You were good once, Dae-hoon. You were kind and just and everything a leader should be. You wanted to make the company ethical. You wanted to help people. You wanted to build something grandfather would be proud of. Don't let their sins turn you into something evil. Don't let what we did to you destroy the good man you were. Move, Su-young. I don't want to hurt you. But you will. Because that's what this hatred has done to you. It's made you willing to hurt anyone to get your revenge. Even me. Even the sister who loved you. Who spent 30 years drowning in guilt for what she did to you." Tears were streaming down her face now. Real, raw emotion after 3 decades of holding it inside. "I'm sorry. God. Dae-hoon, I'm so sorry for what I did. Every day for 30 years I've lived with the knowledge that I destroyed you. That I chose power over family. That I was a coward who let our brother manipulate me into betraying the one person in this family who actually deserved to lead. That I destroyed your life, your marriage, your relationship with your children, everything you'd built." She took a step closer to him. "And I can't undo it. I can't take it back. I can't give you those 30 years. I can't bring back your wife or the childhood your children should have had. But I can stop you from destroying yourself completely. So if you want to kill our brother, you'll have to kill me first. You'll have to become the monster you're so afraid of being. The factory was silent. Daehoon's hand shook. His finger rested on the trigger. For 10 seconds, nobody breathed. Get out of the way, he said quietly. No. I said move. Make me. Pull that trigger. Prove to me that the good man I knew is completely gone. Prove that our brother's betrayal succeeded in destroying everything decent about you. For 10 seconds, they stood frozen. Brother and sister. Two people who'd once loved each other before betrayal and guilt and 3 decades of separation turned them into strangers. The air was thick with everything unsaid, every missed birthday and holiday. Every moment they could have been family, but chose to be enemies instead. Then Daehoon lowered the gun. I can't hurt you, Soo-young. Even after everything, even knowing what you did, even after 30 years of planning this revenge, I can't. He sank to his knees, the gun falling from his hand. I'm so tired. 30 years of planning and plotting and building an empire just to get revenge. 30 years of living with this hatred consuming me from the inside. And now that I'm here, now that I can finally do it, I realize it won't change anything. It won't bring back what I lost. It won't undo what was done to me. It won't make me feel whole again. It won't give me back the life I should have had. Soo-young knelt beside him, wrapping her arms around her brother. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wanted to hurt you both so badly. Wanted you to feel what I felt. The betrayal. The loneliness. The anger that eats at you every single day. The knowledge that the people who should have loved you chose to destroy you instead. But all I feel now is empty. Just empty. Mr. Kong wheeled himself closer. Brother, I can't undo what I did. I can't give you back those 30 years. But I can give you something else. The truth. Publicly. I'll confess everything. Destroy my own reputation. Make sure the world knows what kind of man I really am. What kind of monster I became. And I'll give you the company. All of it. It should have been yours anyway. Daehoon looked up at him. And for the first time in 3 decades, the brothers made eye contact without hatred between them. I don't want it anymore. I don't want any of it. The money, the power, the revenge, none of it matters. None of it brings back what I lost. None of it makes me feel better. I've spent 30 years building an empire just to realize that I built it on the same foundation of lies and corruption that I hated about our family. Then what do you want? I want my sister back. I want to know that some part of my family still loves me. That I'm not alone in this world. That I didn't lose everything. You're not alone, Soo-young said fiercely. You were never alone. I never stopped loving you. Even when I hated myself for what I'd done. Even when I was living in America trying to pretend none of this had happened. You were always in my thoughts. Always in my heart. And I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you'll let me. It should have been the happy ending. The family reunion. The moment of forgiveness and healing. The 3 siblings, reunited after 30 years, choosing love over hatred, choosing family over revenge. But Minho had other plans. How touching, he said, raising his own gun. The movement was smooth, practiced. He'd been waiting for this moment, planning for it. But I'm afraid I can't let this end so neatly. You see, I was promised a substantial bonus for ensuring the complete destruction of the Kong family. And that means all of you need to die. No survivors. No redemption. Just ashes. He fired. The bullet hit Soo-young in the chest. She gasped, her eyes going wide with shock. Blood bloomed across her black blouse like a flower opening. No. Daehoon caught her as she fell. No. Soo-young, stay with me. Gunfire erupted. Daehoon's men engaged Minho's forces. The factory that had been silent moments before exploded with violence. Bullets ricocheted off machinery. Men shouted orders. Chaos consumed the space. Mr. Kong tried to wheel himself to his sister, but a bullet grazed his wheelchair, sending him toppling to the ground. He crawled toward his siblings, ignoring the pain in his still-healing chest, ignoring the broken ribs from the fall, driven by pure desperation to reach them. And Soo-young, lying in Daehoon's arms with blood spreading across her chest, smiled. Actually smiled. It's okay. I deserve this. For what I did to you. No, you don't deserve this. I should have forgiven you. Should have let go of my hatred 30 years ago. Should have reached out to you. Should have tried to rebuild what we had. This is my fault. All of this is my fault. Daehoon. She raised a shaking hand to his face, her touch gentle despite the pain she must be feeling. Promise me something. Let it go. The anger, the revenge, the hatred that's poisoned your life. Let it all go. And be the man you were meant to be. The good man. The just man. The one grandfather would have been proud of. The one who wanted to make the world better instead of burning it down. Promise me. I promise. Just hold on. Help is coming. You're going to be okay. We'll get you to a hospital. You'll be fine. But even as he said it, he could see the truth. The blood was spreading too fast. The light in her eyes was fading. Her breathing was becoming labored. We both know that's not true. She coughed, and blood appeared on her lips. But it's okay. I'm ready. I've been carrying this guilt for 30 years. Every single day wondering if there was something I could have done differently. Some way I could have stopped what happened. Maybe now I can finally rest. Maybe now I can finally be at peace. Maybe this is my atonement. Mr. Kong reached them, pulling himself up to take his sister's other hand. Soo-young, I'm sorry. For everything. You were the best of us. The kindest. The one who actually cared about people. And we destroyed you. I destroyed you. You didn't destroy me, she whispered. I destroyed myself. I made a choice. A terrible choice. I knew it was wrong when I was doing it, and I did it anyway. And I've lived with it every day since. But at least I get to die knowing I saved something. That I stopped this cycle of hatred from continuing. That maybe you two can find a way to be brothers again. Sister, please. I love you, Daehoon. I always loved you. Even when I was destroying you. Even when I chose power over integrity. Even when I was too much of a coward to tell the truth. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For all of it. Her hand fell. Her eyes closed. And Kang Soo-young, who had spent 3 decades trying to atone for one terrible betrayal, died in her brother's arms. If you're crying right now, drop a comment and let me know. Because I'm crying too. This woman spent 30 years carrying guilt, trying to make things right, and she died protecting the family that destroyed her. If you're not subscribed, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. We're almost at the end, family. Stay with me. The sound that came from Daehoon was barely human. Grief and rage and 30 years of pain condensed into a single, agonized scream that echoed through the factory and seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. He laid his sister's body down gently, almost reverently, picked up the gun she'd knocked from his hand, and stood. His face had transformed. Gone was the conflicted man who'd lowered his weapon moments before. In his place was something primal, something dangerous, pure, focused rage given human form. Minho had taken cover behind machinery. His men were falling one by one to Daehoon's security forces. But he was still there, still fighting, still trying to complete his mission. You killed her, Daehoon said, his voice dead calm. The kind of calm that comes before a storm. You killed the only family I had left. The only person who loved me despite knowing what I'd become. The only person who tried to save me from myself. She was collateral damage, Minho called back. Nothing personal. Just business. Nothing personal? Daehoon started walking toward Minho's position. His own men tried to stop him, to provide cover, but he waved them off. Bullets sparked off the concrete around him, but he didn't flinch. Didn't duck. Didn't care. He was beyond fear now. Beyond self-preservation. You took my sister. The last person in this world who loved me. The one good thing left in my life. The one person who never gave up on me. And you call it nothing personal? He raised his gun and fired. Once. Twice. 3 times. Each shot precise. Each one finding its target. Years of rage channeled into perfect accuracy. Minho fell, clutching his chest. Daehoon walked over and stood above him, pressing the gun to his forehead. Who hired you? He demanded. Who paid you to destroy my family? Minho laughed, blood bubbling from his lips. You think you're the only one with a grudge against the Kangs? There's a line of people who want them dead. Rival companies. Former business partners they betrayed. Families they destroyed on their way to the top. Workers they exploited. Communities they devastated. I was just the one who got paid the most to make it happen. Give me a name. Fuck you. Daehoon put a bullet in his knee. Minho screamed, the sound raw and animalistic. A name. Now. Or the next one goes in your other knee, and then I start on your elbows. Consortium of business rivals. They wanted the Kong Empire destroyed from within. Minho gasped between waves of pain. Competitors who couldn't beat them legitimately. So they hired me to make the family destroy itself. But it doesn't matter. You're all going to kill each other anyway. That's what your family does. Destroys everything it touches. Everyone it touches. He died with a smile on his face, satisfied that even in death, he'd accomplished his mission of sowing discord. Daehoon stood there, gun hanging loose in his hand, staring at his sister's body. Around him, the shooting had stopped. His men had secured the factory. Mr. Kong was being helped back into his wheelchair, nursing a dislocated shoulder and several broken ribs, but alive. And police sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Someone had called the authorities. Daehoon, Mr. Kong said quietly, painfully. I'm sorry. For everything. For what I did to you. For what my sins cost Soo-young. For all of it. She died because of choices I made 30 years ago. Because of my greed. My ambition. My cruelty. My inability to share power. My need to be the only one on top. Sorry doesn't bring her back. No, it doesn't. But maybe we can honor her memory by doing what she asked. By letting go of the hatred. By choosing to be better than we were. Than I was. By building something that would make her proud instead of ashamed. Daehoon looked at him. Really looked at him. Saw the guilt and pain written across his brother's face. Saw a man who'd finally realized what his ambition had cost. Not just Daehoon. Not just Soo-young. But everyone who'd ever been touched by the Kong family's poison. You want me to forgive you? After everything, I want you to forgive yourself. To stop carrying this rage that's poisoned your life for 30 years. Soo-young spent 30 years drowning in guilt. Don't spend the rest of your life drowning in hatred. She wouldn't want that. She died to stop that cycle. Don't make her sacrifice meaningless. The police arrived, flooding into the factory with weapons drawn and shouted commands. Daehoon didn't run, didn't fight. He just set his gun down carefully and raised his hands. I'm Kong Daehoon, he said to the officers. And I'm responsible for conspiracy to commit murder, kidnapping, extortion, blackmail, and about a dozen other crimes. I'll confess to all of it. I'll give you names, dates, everything you need. But first, I need to know if Jasmine Park is still alive. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Minjun sat beside Jasmine's bed, holding her hand, watching the monitors count down the minutes she had left. The doctor had said 12 hours. It had been 10. 2 hours left to decide whether to risk the surgery that might kill her or watch her slowly bleed to death internally. I don't know what to do, he said to her unconscious form. The smart thing is to wait, to let you get stronger. But we don't have time. And I'm terrified that if I make the wrong choice, I'll lose you forever. And I can't lose you, Jasmine. I can't. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. You made me believe I could be better than my family, better than my name. Her hand twitched in his, just slightly, but enough to make his heart race. Jasmine, can you hear me? Another twitch. Then her eyes fluttered, opened, focused on him with difficulty. Minjun, she whispered. Her voice was barely audible over the machines, weak and thready. I'm here. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'll never leave you. Soo-jin. Safe. She's safe. You saved her. Again. Because that's what you do. You save people who don't deserve you. Your father? Alive. He's handling some family business, but he's alive. Everyone's alive because of you. She tried to smile, but it came out more like a grimace. Family business. That's one way to put it. Jasmine, the doctors say you need surgery. But it's risky. Very risky. I need to know what you want. If you want to fight, or if you want to rest. Whatever you choose, I'll support it. But I need you to tell me. Stupid question. She squeezed his hand with what little strength she had. I always fight. You know that about me. I don't quit. I don't give up. I came to this country with nothing and built something. I stood up to your psychotic family and survived. Multiple times. I'm not about to let some bullet be the thing that takes me down. Then we fight. Together. Together. Her eyes started to close again. Minjun. Yeah. I love you. Needed to say it. In case this is... Don't say in case. You're going to make it. You're going to survive this. And when you do, we're going to build a life together. Away from all this chaos and violence. Somewhere safe. Somewhere good. Somewhere we can just be normal people who do normal things. Sounds nice, she whispered. Hawaii. Want to go to Hawaii. See the ocean. Drink something with an umbrella in it. Eat fresh pineapple. Learn to surf. Or maybe just lay on the beach and do nothing. Then we'll go to Hawaii. I'll buy us a house on the beach. Right on the water. We'll watch sunsets and drink coffee and eat fresh pineapple and never think about the Kong family drama ever again. We'll learn to surf. Or just lay on the beach and do nothing. Whatever you want. Every day will be yours to decide. Liar. She smiled, and even weak and dying, it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. But I love you anyway. Even though you're a terrible liar. Then she was out again, slipping back into unconsciousness. But she'd fought her way to the surface long enough to tell him what he needed to hear. That she wanted to live. That she wanted to fight. That she wasn't giving up. Minjun hit the call button. We're doing the surgery. Now. Right now. Whatever it takes. You save her. Do you understand me? Whatever it takes. The surgical team assembled within minutes. They wheeled Jasmine away, and Minjun was left alone in the hallway, praying to gods he didn't believe in, making deals with the universe, promising anything and everything if she would just survive. Sujin found him there hours later, still pacing, still praying, wearing a path in the linoleum floor. Any news? She asked quietly. Not yet. It's been 4 hours. They said it would take 6. She's going to make it. She has to. She's the strongest person I've ever met. I know, but strength doesn't stop bullets. Courage doesn't stop internal bleeding. Will doesn't repair damaged organs. No, but love does. And that woman in there? She has so much love. For you. For this life she's built. For the future she wants. For all of us. That'll be enough. It has to be enough. They waited together. Silent. Supportive. 2 people who'd been pulled into the Kong family orbit and somehow survived. 6 hours later, a surgeon emerged. His scrubs were stained with blood. His face was exhausted. But when he looked at Minjun, there was something in his eyes that made Minjun's heart stop. Mr. Kong, is she? She's alive. The surgery was successful. We stopped the bleeding and repaired all the damage we could find. She's going to need months of recovery and physical therapy, but barring any complications, she should make a full recovery. Minjun's legs gave out. He sat down hard on the floor, his head in his hands, and for the first time in 3 weeks, he let himself cry. Not from fear or anger or grief, but from sheer, overwhelming relief. She was alive. She'd survived. They'd both survived. 3 months later, Jasmine stood in the garden of the Kong mansion, watching roses bloom in the spring sunshine. Her side still ached sometimes, especially when it rained, but the doctors said that would fade eventually. The scars would remain, visible reminders of everything she'd survived, but she'd learned to live with scars. They were proof that she'd fought and won. Minjun found her there, same as he had all those months ago when this whole thing started. But everything was different now. The garden looked the same, but they were completely transformed. Ready? He asked. Ready. They walked into the mansion together. The main hall had been transformed for today's event. Staff members lined the walls, the ones who'd stayed, the ones who'd chosen to be part of the new Kong family rather than the old one. Business associates filled the seats. Reporters crowded in the back, cameras ready. And at the front, Mr. Kong stood at a podium, looking frail but determined. This was the press conference. The confession. The moment when the Kong family's darkest secrets would be revealed to the world. Thank you all for coming, Mr. Kong began. My name is Kong Jinho, and I'm here today to confess to crimes committed 30 years ago against my brother, Kong Dae-hoon, and to take responsibility for the violence and corruption that have defined my family for too long. For the next hour, he detailed everything. The fraud, the betrayal, the evidence planting. He destroyed his own reputation methodically, thoroughly, leaving no room for doubt or spin. He talked about how his ambition had corrupted him, how his greed had destroyed his family, how his choices had led to the death of his sister. When he finished, reporters exploded with questions. But Mr. Kong held up a hand. I'm also here to announce my permanent retirement. Effective immediately, I'm stepping down as chairman of Kong Industries. The company will be restructured under new leadership with complete transparency. My son, Kong Minjun, will serve as CEO. And to ensure we never repeat the mistakes of the past, we're creating a new position, Chief Ethics Officer. This person will have the authority to investigate any part of the company, to question any decision, to ensure we're operating with complete integrity and accountability. He looked directly at Jasmine. Ms. Jasmine Park has agreed to take this position. She's proven herself to be a person of extraordinary integrity and courage. She stood up to this family when everyone else was too afraid. She survived multiple attempts on her life. She saved my son and showed all of us what real strength looks like. And she'll make sure this company operates with the values it should have had from the beginning. The press conference ended with chaos. Questions shouted. Cameras flashing. Speculation about what this meant for the Kong Empire. But Jasmine and Minjun slipped away quietly, leaving the circus behind. They found themselves back in the garden. Their place. So, Minjun said. Chief Ethics Officer. That's a big job. Someone has to keep you honest. Can't have you turning into your father. Fair point. Are you sure you want this? You could still take the scholarship. Go to university anywhere in the world. Build a completely different life far away from here. Start fresh. Be anyone you want to be. I could, Jasmine agreed. But then who would make sure the Kong family doesn't implode again? Besides, someone very smart once told me that when you love someone, you stay. You fight. You don't quit just because things get hard. Sounds like a wise person. She has her moments. Jasmine turned to face him fully. Plus, I have plans for this company. Big plans. We're going to implement fair wages across all levels. Create actual pathways for advancement that don't depend on who your family is. Establish programs to support employees from disadvantaged backgrounds. Partner with community organizations. Make this company accountable to the people it serves. Turn this company into something that actually helps people instead of just making rich people richer. Minjun smiled. I love it when you talk revolution. Good, because I'm just getting started. He pulled out a small box. Then I have a question to ask you. Jasmine's heart stopped. Before you panic, he said quickly, this isn't what you think. I mean, it is. But also it isn't. Just open it. Inside the box was a key. Simple. Brass. Old-fashioned. What is this? The key to a house in Hawaii. On the beach, just like I promised. White sand, blue water, palm trees, the whole thing. It's ours whenever we need to escape. Whenever the Kong family drama gets too much. Whenever we need to remember who we are outside of all this chaos. It's our sanctuary. Minjun. But also, he pulled out a second, smaller box. This is the other thing. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. Perfect. A single diamond set in platinum, understated but beautiful. I'm not asking you to marry me. Not yet. We've been through too much too fast, and I want us to have time to just be together. To heal. To build something real without people trying to kill us every 5 minutes. But I'm asking you to consider it. To think about a future where we're partners in everything. Business. Life. Love. All of it. Where we build something together that's ours. Jasmine stared at the ring. At this man who'd gone from stranger to savior to everything in the span of a few chaotic months. At the life they could build together if they were brave enough to try. Ask me again in a year, she said. When we've had time to be normal. To be boring. To figure out who we are when people aren't actively trying to murder us. A year. A year. But I'm keeping the key to the Hawaii house. And I'm taking 2 weeks off next month, and you're coming with me. No phones. No business. No Kong family drama. Just us and the ocean and maybe some of those drinks with umbrellas in them. Deal. They sealed it with a kiss, standing in the garden where everything had changed, where a maid had become something more, where a bastard son had found someone who loved him for who he was rather than what he was born into. Above them, watching from a window, Mr. Kong smiled. His brother was in prison serving a reduced sentence for his cooperation, 5 years, eligible for parole in 3. Mrs. Kong was serving her full term. Hyunwoo had disappeared completely, likely living under a false name in some other country, and honestly, that was probably for the best. The Kong Empire was smaller now, cleaner, better, and in the capable hands of 2 people who actually deserved it. It wasn't the ending he'd imagined for his family, but maybe it was the ending they needed. 1 year later, Minjun asked Jasmine the question again. This time in Hawaii, on their beach, with the sunset painting the sky in shades of gold and pink and orange. With waves crashing gently in the background and the smell of plumeria in the air. This time, she said yes. And finally, after everything they'd survived, after all the blood and betrayal and near-death experiences, after the loss and the pain and the impossible choices, they got their happy ending. Not perfect, not without scars, but theirs. Real, hard one, worth fighting for. So that's it, True Soul Stories family. That's the end of Jasmine and Minjun's story. I hope you laughed. I hope you cried. I hope you felt everything I felt while bringing this story to you. If you love this series, hit that like button one last time. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment. Was it when Jasmine first slapped Hyunwoo? When she threw herself in front of that bullet? When Soo-young sacrificed herself? Let me know what hit you hardest. Share this video with everyone you know because this is the kind of story that deserves to be shared. This is the kind of story that reminds us why we love storytelling in the first place. And here's what I need you to do next. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications. Because in 2 weeks, we're dropping something brand new. Something even more intense. Until then, This is your girl from True Soul Stories, signing off one last time on this series. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you for every comment, every like, every share. You made this story what it is. You believed in Jasmine when everyone else wanted to break her. You rooted for Minjun to be better than his family. You cried with me when Soo-young died. You're the reason I do this. Where are you watching from? Let me know one last time. Drop your city in the comments. And tell me, should I do more series like this? Different characters, different drama, same intensity? What kind of stories do you want to see next? I'll see you in 2 weeks for the Chable's Secret. Until then, this has been True Soul Stories. Keep fighting. Keep loving. Keep being brave like Jasmine. Keep choosing integrity over convenience. Keep standing up even when it's easier to stay down. Keep believing that people can change, that families can heal.